Don't get me wrong, I'm still very excited for the World Baseball Classic, but over the last few days, we've seen big names like Framber Valdez, Jose Ramirez, and Nestor Cortez get removed from the rosters because whether it was an insurance claim issue or injuries, whatever it was, now we have Clayton Kershaw in that mix as well. He is no longer going to be participating, which really sucks for Team America. When you lose Nestor and Kershaw in the span of a week, that hurts. We also have to break down Manny Machado coming out and saying that he will in fact opt out of his contract after this 2023 season. And the biggest reason why? Money. He said it with his own face. Now, before we get into all of that big news, I do want to talk about this sneaky good signing by the Rangers. So Robbie Grossman, he is not the biggest name, but the thing that you have to remember about Robbie Grossman is even though he had an 80 OPS plus for the entirety of 2022, which is not good at all, if we go down to his splits, look at what he did against lefties. I know he only had the one home run, but I feel like Robbie Grossman still has some power in that bat. He hit 320 with a 436 on base percentage, which is crazy good, and he had a 149 OPS plus versus lefties a season ago. For his career, he has a 120 OPS plus versus lefties. He has a near 380 on base percentage for his career against lefties. He doesn't strike out really ever against them, so this is a fantastic signing for a Rangers team that isn't going to use Robbie Grossman every single day. Now, take this lineup with a grain of salt. This is according to Fangraphs. I don't know if it's going to be Marcus Semien, and then you have two lefties back-to-back. Well, I guess when you have a righty on the bump, that makes sense, but they have Robbie Grossman slated as the 8-hitter against righties. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think that Robbie Grossman is 100% going to be a platoon guy. Someone like Mark Mathias, who showed some pretty good pop last year, and he's better against righties, funny enough, because he's a righty. Usually it's the inverse. We know that the Rangers have added Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi, and Andrew Heaney. Their bullpen, they have Jose Leclerc coming back, I believe, so there's some decent guys in this pen like Brock Burke. They do have some other guys like Danny Duffy, although he is on the injured reserve. They invited Danny Duffy to be in their bullpen. Now, this was a non-roster invitee, but back in the day for the Royals, Danny Duffy, he had some decent seasons, although hopefully out the pen, he'll be better and actually not suck. Although actually the last time that we saw Danny Duffy, he had a 2.51 ERA in 2021, so maybe I'm talking out of my you-know-what. But yeah, before we talk about Manny Machado or Clayton Kershaw, let me know in the comments, who do you think should be the favorite in the AL West? Is it the Astros, the Mariners, the Angels? Definitely not the A's, but maybe it's a team like the Rangers. Let me know. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll the tape of Clayton Kershaw announcing that he has removed himself from the World Baseball Classic. And of course, there is some context missing, so after the clip is over, I'll go ahead and provide that because there was an insurance issue.
To be able to play in the WBC, super disappointing. We tried a lot of different things, all sides, really tried to make it work, and nothing's wrong with me. It just didn't work out. I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to be a part of that group. Probably my last chance to get to do it, so I really wanted to do it, but just didn't work out for a number of reasons. So disappointing, but you know, that's okay. I'll be ready for the season. Be ready to go. There was some factors that, you know, were making it hard for me to play, and I tried to work it out on my own, tried to work it out with MLB, union, a team, everybody worked hard to try and make it work, and just wasn't able to. Andrew was great through the whole thing, and said whatever you need to do to make it work if you want to do it. And you know, obviously it's not like the first choice of any team to let their guy play for somebody else, but they were great about it.
But you can also say the same about Team DR, because we don't see guys like Jose Ramirez. We don't see guys like Framber Valdez. I know they still have Christian Javier. They have guys like Sandy Alcantara, who won the Cy Young. Even someone like Roansy Contreras, he is very underrated. He plays for the Pirates. For a rookie, he had a pretty decent campaign last year. They have some nasty bullpen arms. So for me, Team DR, they still have the pitching advantage, especially when you factor in Nestor Cortez and Clayton Kershaw being replaced. And this sucks too, because Clayton Kershaw, not that he's overrated or anything like that, but people don't think that he's still in his prime. Last year in 130 innings, he had a 2.28 ERA and 137 strikeouts in 126 innings. Like, he's still very good, and I was hoping that he could put his skills on display in front of the world and remind everyone that he's still him. That really sucks as a baseball fan, but here's something that could make baseball more interesting after this next season. Manny Machado, he could be entering the free agency pool yet again. Here's what he had to say about his opt-out.
Am I going to be a Padre next year?
2024?
I mean, so far this year I'm a Padre, but who knows after next year? I know, you know, obviously the team knows where I stand in my situation, and you know, with the opt-out coming, and you know, I think I've expressed that I will be opting out after this year. You know, but I think my focus is not about 2024. I think my focus is about 2023, what I can do to this ball club, what I've done for this organization, and you know, what we're going to continue to do here. I think we got something special here growing, and you know, I don't think anything's going to change. There's a lot of money out there. It's a lot of money out there. These owners are making a lot of money, and we're bringing a lot of money too. We're having fun out there. We're having a good time, and we're filling up the seats. These are things that happen. Markets change. From when I signed, 5 years ago, it's changed tremendously. So, things change and evolve, and as a player that's about to opt out, it's pretty good to see.
I have no issue with what Manny Machado just had to say. The owners are making a ton of money, and when you look across the league and you see guys like Anthony Rendon making $35 million a year, he got that 7-year, $245 million contract, I think back in 2020. Manny Machado, he's making $30 million, so of course he's going to opt out because he's probably going to get anywhere from $36 to $39 million, not going to be as much as Aaron Judge, but after the season that he just had last year, he almost had a 7 WAR on Baseball Reference, and if you look at Fangraphs, which a lot of people respect more and more as the days pass, Fangraphs had him at a 7.4 FWAR for 2022, so they said he was even better. Manny Machado, he's easily worth $35+ million a year. I mean, if you take a look at the career highs for Manny Machado, 51 doubles back in 2013 as a 20-year-old. He's twice now had 37 home runs in a season. His highest OPS plus has been 159. That was last year in 2022. He's a 2-time Gold Glover, could be 3 or 4 times, honestly, but there are so many good fielders in the National League. We are looking at a potential Hall of Fame player in the making, and a lot of people would argue he's already a Hall of Famer. He's in that same conversation as Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, who cemented their case in 2022. Guys like Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, we know that they're going to make it. But for me, there's a lot of Hall of Fame players playing right now that a lot of people aren't considering. But let's just say Manny Machado does end up leaving the Padres. They'll be A-okay. They have so many guys that can fill that void. Not saying they're not going to be worse off because of it. They will absolutely be worse off. But Jake Cronenworth, Ha-Seong Kim, Fernando Tatis, they can play third base. We have a breaking story from former Cleveland Guardian. I miss Francisco Lindor so much, but apparently towards the end of 2022, when the Mets were playing against the Padres, Francisco Lindor was suffering some side pain, and he actually had to get his appendix removed. But he said that he would have pushed off the appendectomy if the Mets did actually advance, which we all know that did not happen. Francisco Lindor is one of the toughest guys that I've come across if we're talking about baseball players. Even if he was just sounding tough, like maybe he wouldn't have actually missed an appendectomy to play baseball, because if you did not know, a bursting appendix is no joke. If you do not treat it properly, a bursting appendix can actually lead to severe lifelong repercussions, whether that's you just have side pain and issues for the rest of forever, or you just don't get to breathe air anymore, because it can be fatal in certain circumstances. So the fact that Lindor was out here saying, I would have played baseball, I would have sucked it up, maybe or maybe not, I guess we'll never know, but the fact that he was willing to pretty much play through it, I think that's really cool, and I wanted to make sure you guys heard about this story. But that does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. And if you're bored, YouTube wants you to watch this video right here, or whatever side. I don't know where I'm pointing, but yeah, watch it.